Hello everyone, so I'm Kovila. So this research contributes to the usable privacy research area. The general public opinion in national surveys as reported in the UK and Europe is that tracking online is a privacy concern for most citizens. This has been reported by the Oxford Internet Institute as well as the European Commission. However, previous academic research shows that individuals have inaccurate and incomplete mental models of the mechanics of behavioral advertising and have misconceptions about the purpose of cookies. In addition, users' mental models of tracking only weakly relate to their protection behavior. And so actually, privacy as a cognitive process is quite common in usable privacy research in the sense that there's a lot of investigation looking at people's mental models, their perceptions, or their understanding and awareness of risk, of consequences, of protective technologies, etc. However, there's barely a handful of research that links people's emotion to their protective behavior. And literature already provides a number of theoretical grounding to depict how our emotion influence our decision making. And this is just a few of them. And if you'd like to know more about these theories, please have a look at the paper where we discuss them. So given this background, we wanted to investigate how people's feelings, in particular in the context of online tracking, associate with and impact their protective actions. So we conducted a survey online via Prolific Academic in 2020. We balanced our sample according to the genders of women and men. The rationale for that was there's two pieces of previous research that says that women tend to be more concerned about their privacy online, and then that men tend to engage more with technical protection compared to women. We also balance our sample according to country, 3 different countries. The reason for that was that in the UK and European regions, these countries had the highest number of internet users at the time, meaning a higher number of potential people being exposed to online tracking. And then national culture itself as a collective mindset distinguishing how people in one country think or behave compared to another is a valuable factor to look at privacy concerns, feelings and behavior. So we collected data via qualitative elicitation, via open-ended questions. Then the open-ended responses were inductively content analyzed, and we conducted statistical analysis of those responses afterwards. If we look at our men versus women subgroup, we find that they had a similar mean age group. They were also of similar education level, as well as they had a majority of people from Caucasian community. However, across the different countries, there were slight differences in our subsample. For example, those from the UK reported to have were from a higher number of college graduate people, or those with an undergrad degree. People from the French subgroup had reported a higher number of people with master's or PhD degrees. In terms of ethnicity, it was between 80 to 93% reporting to be Caucasian. So on to the results of our study. First, for the research question, how do individuals feel with regards to third-party tracking, given their gender and country differences? So via the content analysis, we identify 4 main categories of feeling tones. In the first category of people saying they were generally not okay or expressing negative feeling tones, there were those who mentioned literally just being not okay or not liking online tracking. Then there were those people, nearly 18%, who talk about a sense of boundary loss or invasion that went beyond the information privacy or data privacy sphere. They felt invaded, violated in their own humanhood. So they spoke about violation, being exposed, exploited, feeling unsafe, treated as not a human being, feeling naked even. Others spoke of the unfairness of the practice and talking about powerlessness or helplessness, naming that they were feeling betrayed, that the practice is dishonest, or feeling trapped. Others express anger-related emotion via annoyance, irritation, being bothered by the practice. Still, other participants talk about anxiety emotions. So they said that tracking is pretty scary. They felt worried and felt that it was spooky. Other participants expressed discomfort, saying that the tracking online, they felt uneasy about it, or expressed that they were not comfortable. Or some of them talk about tracking being a suspicious practice and saying that they were not trusting that. So if we summarize those negative feeling tones across this visual, we can actually see that women are more expressive of not being okay or expressing negative feeling tones with regards to tracking online. And we can also see that participants from the UK were less expressive compared to those from France and Germany. At the same time, if we look closely into the different emotions up till the emotion of annoyance, we can see that actually men are expressing more negative emotions. But then when we combine anxiety, discomfort, and distress, then we have a higher percentage of women. So in the category of people expressing being sometimes okay or not okay, there was a sense of ambivalence, with participants saying, I'm okay with it, but at the same time I know it's a bit bad. I feel intruded, but I accept it, or literally mentioning the word ambivalent. Then there were those, a smaller percentage, that talk about being okay under certain conditions. And a smaller percentage again talked about feeling okay, but because they had already taken an action to protect themselves. In the category of those expressing that they were generally okay or indifferent with tracking, here you'll notice that those are smaller percentage of participants compared to those who express negative tones. There were those who just said, I'm okay with it, I'm all right with it, I'm comfortable with it. Others say, you know, I'm a bit indifferent to this. Or others saying it's a necessary part of transacting online. And other participants yet saying, like, you know, I have no feelings about this. I don't feel in any particular way. Then in the other group category, we had those who said that this practice should be regulated. So here to note, it's what participants felt. It's not necessarily what is already covered in the GDPR or the UK Data Protection Act. So they said that tracking should be regulated, should be forbidden, it should be made illegal, should be banned, or it should be made more transparent. And yet again, there were those who said, you know, I have no idea of what this practice is, and I don't know enough about it to respond. So moving on to the next part of our research, we wanted to know, so what do people do about tracking online, given what they feel? Here we saw that about 35% of our participants reported to not doing anything about tracking. And then a higher percentage of those who took action said that they use browser extensions or clear cookies, use private browsing or a privacy-oriented browser, etc. Or even those who said, like, I look into the website and see whether it feels suspicious, etc. I use anti-malware or antivirus. Again, this is what people are actually doing, rather than what we think as researchers they should be doing to protect themselves. So visualizing the actions now, again, we can see between the different gender that women have reported to not take any protective actions more than men in the red part of this diagram. And then if we compare between countries, we can again see that the UK participants reported to not act to protect themselves compared to those from France and Germany. And now we wanted to look further into how these feelings that were expressed, how they are associated with whether people take protective actions or not. So we computed a multivariate correspondence analysis to look at the strength of association between feeling tones and protective behavior. And then we visualized this association on the spatial map. So this spatial map is actually quite intuitive, because if you look at the left, you can see that those who express feeling not aware, not having any emotion or being indifferent, are furthest away from taking any action. But they are closest to no action. And then those in the middle who are okay on the deciding condition or ambivalent are a little bit closer to doing something, but still in the middle. And then we have those people who express anxiety, annoyance, not being okay, etc. We can see that these feelings are closer, so more associated with actually protecting oneself. Next part, we wanted to see how feelings actually predict taking a protective action or not, whatever that action may be. And so we computed a logistic regression with protective action or no action as target variable, and gender, country, and negative tones as predictors. So what we can see here is that men are more than twice more likely than women to act protectively. Those from Germany and the UK and France, are nearly twice more likely to act. And those feeling those negative tones that are highlighted are between 2.5 to nearly 4 times more likely to take protective actions. So the takeaways of this study is that it provides an improvement on the solely cognitive-oriented investigation of tracking that we've been used to, and the sort of investigation we've been used to in usable privacy research already, which is mostly cognitive-oriented. So we also notice, similarly to literature, that feelings can provide us with useful inputs about judgment, decision, and behavior when people's cognitive evaluation of a situation is inaccurate and incomplete, which is usually the case for lay users in privacy and security area. We also saw an indication of a privacy gender gap, and also that in UK individuals reported less active protections and were less expressive of negative feelings. So this actually requires further investigation about why this is happening. The implications of our finding for researchers, it's important for us to deepen our understanding of the factors between us feeling negatively about our privacy online and then taking action. So what are the challenges, what are the steps that we need to include to help people take action? So for designers and providers, technology providers, it's important to understand who are more receptive to privacy technologies and who are not, and how to customize ways to upskill people, given their gender differences or country differences or other demographic differences. For regulators and national data protection operators, it's indeed important to have guidelines for fair practices, to ensure that websites and service providers are not nudging people into accepting things that they are not okay with. So this is the end of my presentation. I'll be happy to take questions now or have a chat later.